Good evening, sports betting fans. This is Hardways Mike with SBI coming at you on Tuesday. I hope that you had sufficient time to recover from what was an exciting first week, week one of college football. We did have week 0 a week ago, but NCAA football week 1 is in the books, and my goodness, what a week it was. We had games all weekend long, starting on Thursday. We had games on Friday. Of course, Saturday all day, Sunday games, and I believe we'll get to it, but Aces owes me a Coke from that LSU-Florida State game. And then last night's stunning upset as Duke, unranked at the time, upsets Clemson 28-7. This one was never in doubt in the second half. Riley Leonard with just an incredible performance both on the ground and okay through the air. Klubenik for Clemson could not get it done, although Will Shipley had about 140 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Clemson just looked lost at times. This is not the same offense that we're used to, and they just made mistake after mistake in the red zone in particular. Multiple goal line fumbles. It was a shock to everybody, and no surprise though. New offense, they're just not clicking right now. So the rankings have changed. Duke is now ranked. They are 21, and Clemson has dropped from 9 all the way to 25. So we'll see where things shake out the rest of this year for Clemson. They are 0-1 and basically have punched their ticket out of the college football playoffs for the time being. But that Florida State LSU game, what an exciting game it was. This one was LSU was up 17-14 at halftime, but they could not get anything going in the second half. And it was all Florida State, in particular in the fourth quarter. Final score 45-24. I was big on Florida State. Aces was on LSU, but that is where things did end up with that game. It was one hell of a game if you were watching it. Prior to that, we had Oregon State and San Jose State earlier in the day. Oregon State won 42-17. That Oregon State team, ranked number 18 now, they are just something else. That from a team that had 3 wins a couple seasons ago to now ranked 18 in the nation, just exciting. For your Big Ten fans, we had Rutgers and Northwestern. Kind of a snooze fest, 24-7. Tons of other games we had going on throughout the week. Of course, Alabama won 56-7 against Middle Tennessee State. Penn State outlasts West Virginia, 38-15. Illinois up over Toledo, 30-28. I'm not going to go through all the games, just a couple of highlights here. Oklahoma State, 27-13 over Central Arkansas. Iowa won 24-11 or 24-13, something like that. Oregon won 81-7. You heard that right, folks. 81 points for the Oregon Ducks. Just mind-blowing. Ohio State struggled with Indiana, although Indiana couldn't score. Ohio State was doing their best to shoot themselves in the foot on the offense. 23-3. Washington 56-19 over Buffalo. So that, if you want any games that, well, how about one more? Texas up over Rice, 37-10. Notre Dame up over Tennessee State, 56-3. Lots of good, fun games going on. I'll get to some games later in the podcast, but we do have baseball going on right now. We got a few games left to go. Just a couple of quick scores. Cardinals up over the Braves, even though the Braves were big favorites in this, minus 200 on the money line. Cardinals are up 9-3 over the Braves right now. White Sox up over the Royals, 6-3, and the Cubbies are up over the Giants after the Giants jumped out to a quick 3-0 lead. Cubs scored 4 in the third inning. It's now 4-3. Cubs up over the Giants. Teams you might be interested in: Dodgers are losing to the Marlins right now, 5-3. Red Sox are losing to the Rays, 5-3. Yankees and Tigers tied at 1-6. Let's see where those runs scored. Yankees scored 1 in the first inning, and then the Tigers tied it up in the 6th inning. Mets up over the Nationals 9-1. If you didn't see our post on social media, it looks like Pete Alonso has entered the home run race. He's now sitting at 40. So we have 40 for him, and then Matt Olson hit one on Sunday. So he's now sitting at 44, tied with Shohei Ohtani. We'll see where this ends up for the year. We got 4 games left to go, so let's take a look. We've got the Angels and the Orioles. The Orioles are in Anaheim visiting the Angels. We've got Reed Detmers on the mound for the Angels, 3-10 record with a 5.01 ERA versus Dean Kremer on the mound for the Orioles, 12-5 record with a 4.20 ERA. The Orioles are the favorites in that game, no surprise, minus 175. Best line that I'm seeing on DraftKings Sportsbook. Also, you can get the Angels at plus 156, so a bit of a wide difference there between the money lines. That 156 is over on FanDuel Sportsbook. The A's play the Blue Jays. You got Waldichuk on the mound for the A's, 2-7 record with a 5.92 ERA versus Chris Bassett for the Blue Jays, 13-7 record with a 3.81 ERA. Again, no surprise. Blue Jays are the favorites in this one, minus 190. This one is in Oakland, and so we got a couple of road teams that are big favorites. The Blue Jays, minus 190 over on, let's see, BetRivers, FanDuel, and PointsBet, and Caesars. Alternatively, you can get the A's at plus 160 at a bunch of places, basically everywhere, with 158 over on Caesars Sportsbook. The game that most people are probably waiting for the Padres and the Phillies. That game is at 8:40 Central Time. So we've got Michael Lorenzen on the mound for the Phillies. I believe we had a pitching change earlier. Nope, it looks like he was always set for today. 8-8 regular with a 3.73 ERA versus Pedro Avila on the mound for the Padres. 0-2 regular with a 2.67 ERA. This one is in San Diego, hence the late start. Padres are the favorites, minus 130 on both Bet Rivers and FanDuel and Caesars Sportsbook. If you want to back the Phillies, the PointsBet has the best line for that at plus 115 over on PointsBet. So that's the best line there for the Phillies. One more, Diamondbacks and the Rockies. Diamondbacks are the favorites. It is in Arizona, minus 210 on PointsBet and FanDuel. You can get the Rockies plus 180 on Bet Rivers and DraftKings and Caesars Sportsbook. Player props, we are, as always, we sent out our player props download today, the Excel spreadsheet with the player props for Major League Baseball. We'll keep getting that out to you on Tuesdays until the regular season is over with. Let's look at let's take Trey Turner has been super hot recently. Let's see if we can find a line for him to hit a home run tonight. Actually, I think I remember seeing something about Trey Turner being placed on the paternity leave list today, so he's probably not playing. So let's find somebody else in. Let's check out. Let's see the Padres game. Let's see, who do we want to check out for player props there? Probably Blake's. Let's run through here. Juan Soto. How about Juan Soto? Let's check out his home run lines home runs over. So Juan Soto plus 400 on DraftKings, plus 425 on PointsBet. Very close there. If you want to back him, though, do it on FanDuel. Plus 520 to hit a home run for Juan Soto tonight in the Padres game. That is almost 100 points better than the next best line over on PointsBet. So check out our MLB player props page, and you can find all sorts of great stuff there for player props, in addition to everything that we have, the game boards and the game pages, and, of course, MLB Today. Let's head over to college football, because college football is everything this fall. Although we do have NFL starting in just 2 days. It is Tuesday. We've got a Thursday night game between the Lions and the Chiefs. Now, I'm not sure if you heard the news today, but it looks like Travis Kelce has hyperextended his knee today. He is uncertain to play. I'm going to pull up the game board. I know that line has changed a little bit since this morning. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Actually, okay, so yeah, it's moved quite a bit. I know that the Lions were at one point plus 230 today, and now they are sitting at plus 205, and the Chiefs at minus 225. So still the favorite in that. I'm guessing it's still a 5.5 point spread on that one. But I do want to see this money line movement here for the Chiefs. I think Asen posted something. He did post something about this in our Discord earlier. So yeah, let's see here. Minus 300, bouncing up and down, boom, boom, boom. And then minus 220, as low as minus 225 this afternoon, shortly after the news broke, minus 225, and then back down to minus 260 and minus 225 again. Now that's where we're sitting at. If we check out the other side, the Lions line, as I mentioned, that moved around quite a bit. It was as high as 260 on last week Tuesday, and then it was down as much as, 198, this particular line on PointsBet. Let's check out that DraftKings line, because it is currently 190 over on DraftKings, so that has moved quite a bit, now sitting at 190. It was as low as 180 this afternoon, shortly after the news broke. So keep an eye on injury news as things pop up. For example, I know that the Ravens tight end Mark Andrews is also still injured, and that could move the line for the Ravens game later this week. But yeah, we have NFL football starting this Thursday with the Lions and Chiefs at 7 o'clock. But let's go over to our This Week in College Football page. We have been loving everything about it. Let's look at the Big Ten here. I'm just going to pull this up, and we've got, Washington State and Wisconsin. That game is at Martin Stadium on September 9th at 6:30 p.m. So we have a couple of differences in the types of games or types of offenses that are. Washington State with the spread offense, certainly one that can throw the ball quite a bit, and Wisconsin with that Big Ten, that power running game. It is in Washington State. It's a 6:30 game. Wisconsin's the favorite here. Minus 6.5 is the spread. Minus 220 on the money line. Both of those are on Caesars Sportsbook. You can get plus 6.5 at minus 110 on Caesars for Washington State, or plus 202, as high as plus 202 for Washington State over on FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm going to go ahead and click on detailed matchup, and we've got our game preview here. We've got our statistics, our team stats, red and green across the board. We've got our advanced stats for when you want to dig in. We've got our schedules, our common opponents. I've got our line data, our odds for the money line, the spread odds, and the totals, and everything that you need to know. Let's go back to our NCAA football this week in college football. Let's see here. We'll go and pull up another game just to take a look here. Let's go with Pac-12. Well, we did have a Pac-12. How about SEC? Pull up an SEC game. Let's see if there's any competitive SEC games this early in the season. Sometimes it's a bit of a crapshoot. Well, how about Alabama and Texas? Saturday, September 9th at Bryant-Denny Stadium, 6 o'clock p.m., Alabama and Texas square off. That should be a good game. Alabama had trouble with Texas last year. We'll see if they can change anything this year and make it happen. That Alabama offense in a bit of flux here. Again, that game is at Alabama. Right now, the best lines, you get Alabama minus 280 over on FanDuel versus plus 235 for Texas on DraftKings. The spread is minus 7, so 7 even at minus 110 on Caesars. Gets plus 7 at minus 110 also on Caesars for Texas. And then 54.5 is the over-under in that game. I'm not sure how that game doesn't just fly past the over on this one. Let's see what our tech and preview is. Let's read this here. It's always a big game in Alabama and Texas face off, but this one could be even bigger with betting lines in play. Both teams are looking to start the season with a win. It should be a great game to watch start to finish. So we will see what that looks like. Alabama, as I mentioned, did get the win earlier this week over on Wednesday. Texas, of course, they won as well. Let's see what that score was. Yeah, 37-10. I think I mentioned that. So plenty of action to be had this weekend. I think we've got games. Let's see if we have games on Thursday this week or if we're on. We do have a couple of games. We got Louisville on versus Murray State on Thursday, and then couple of Friday games, Indiana State, Illinois, Kansas, and then Saturday we've got a 10 o'clock game, and then all day. So head over to our This Week in College Football page and find everything you need to know about college football and the matchups. We also have the game boards where you can find the best lines across the sports book for money lines, spreads. I'm looking at that right now, totals, and then one of my favorite pages, our player props page. I am super excited about this. We have 2 pages here for player props for NCAA football. We've got our player props page where we're tracking basically everything that the sportsbook offer when it comes to touchdowns, when it comes to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and expand this. If you need any run through of how we do this, you can check out our live stream from Friday night where we got on and we went through all things related to college football and betting and all sorts of things, including taking a look at these player props. A lot of fun we had there that night. So I'm just going to go and these are, let's see, our top player props here. Well, it's still early in the week, so not a lot of props outside of touchdowns, which we have many, many of. Let's look at one here, for example. Travis Hunter, the wide receiver for Colorado. Colorado popped off with a big surprise upset over TCU on Saturday. Over-under touchdowns for him. If you want to take the over, you can get minus 145. That's the best line there on DraftKings Sportsbook. That might be a good one to jump on right now. Let's see. You can also get – actually, I take that back. Travis Hunter, total touchdowns – oh, I missed this one. Plus 110 on FanDuel, so big difference there. If you want Travis Hunter, make sure you get that on FanDuel Sportsbook. Much better. His receiving yards currently set at 63.5. FanDuel looks like the only one that has that up. We'll get more player props throughout the week as things kind of pop up. But we also have the top player props page where you can find our popular player props. You can also favorite these too, but along the top we've got Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. No surprise with a team with Coach Prime, who just put up a massive upset over TCU. That's going to be 2 at the top there. And then Nebraska, believe it or not, Marcus Washington is right up there, in addition to Dylan Edwards for Colorado, Ramir Johnson, Jeff Sims across the board. So, and then we get down, we got some Texas players, Savion Red, Jonathan Brooks, Alabama, Jalen Milroe. Check it out. And that's a reminder that all of this is available in SBI Plus, our subscription program. Tonight is the last night to take advantage of the summer promotion savings where we're offering half off for your first month. Make sure you sign up before midnight tonight to take advantage of that, and you'll get your first month at half off and get access to all the things that we have in SBI Plus and all the things that we have new this year, including these top player props for NCAA football, NCAA football props and analysis this week in college football, and then the rest of the Major League Baseball season, MLB Today, and our player props page, all our game boards, all of our scanners, our Plus EV scanners, our arbitrage line scanners, middling scanners, our calculators, our articles, this podcast, access to our exclusive Discord. All of that is available to you. Check us out. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll be checking emails all the way up until midnight tonight, but this is the last opportunity to take advantage and get your first month for half off the price. This summer promotion has been super popular, very exciting, and we hope to have you join us this year. Speaking of the scanners. I'm going to close it out with a couple of plus EV bets tonight. A couple of big ones, actually, if you're interested. We've got a one for Oregon here at plus 105 odds. So a plus 11% positive expected value bet. You don't see these very often, but you got a big plus EV bet for Oregon. The spread on Oregon at -3. Oregon playing Texas Tech. That game is on Friday at 8 o'clock p.m. I believe that game is on FBS. Forgive me, that game is on Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. That game is, let's see here. Yep, that is 6 o'clock. It is at Texas Tech. So 6.5 is the spread on that. If you want Oregon, -6.5 at plus 105 over on Caesar Sportsbook. Big money opportunity there at a plus 11% positive expected value bet. If you want something with a little longer odds, you can get the Sam Houston State money line, which I'm a little surprised is this high, but is plus 5.5% positive expected value bet. They are playing Air Force with that ground and pound. Not a whole lot of passes to be found in that game, but Sam Houston State at plus 570 on FanDuel is 5.51% positive expected value bet. That also is a Saturday game, 7 o'clock p.m. So a couple of plus EV bets there for you to close out the podcast. We have covered a lot, and we haven't even touched on golf well, let's just real quickly, we'll touch on tennis before we close it out. I know that with the U.S. Open finishing up here very quickly, you're going to want to know, well, today we had Djokovic beat Fritz in straight sets, 6-1, 6-4, 6-4. Tonight we've got TFO versus Shelton at 8:15 p.m. So that'll be, let's see, that's our part of our quarterfinals. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, quarterfinals tomorrow. You got Rublev versus Medvedev, and then Alcaraz versus Zverev. That would be at 12:15 and 7:15. Over in the women's side, let's see here. We've got Coco Gauff won in straight sets, 6-0, 6-2 versus Ostapenko, and Mukova won in straight sets, 6-0, 6-3 versus Surstia. Tomorrow you've got Sabalenka versus Zhang at 11 o'clock, and Vondrousova versus Keys at 6 o'clock. Coco Gauff is now the favorite to win that, as is Djokovic. No surprise there. That's it. So we are coming up here on 20 minutes. I know that's a lot. I appreciate you sticking around with us. One more thing before we go. Don't forget that we have a ton of stuff coming up for NFL in addition to college football. So check us out. NFL starts very soon this week, 2 days. If you are doing daily fantasy sports using our player props page for the NCAA college player props, that is a great way to get an advantage, whether you're doing tournaments, double-ups, 50-50s, heads-to-heads, whatever it is. Make sure you check that out and let us know if you have any questions. My name is Hardways Mike. As we say over here at SBI, you don't always have to bet, but when you do, wager wisely.